in Ukraine, but will not stop targeting the country's military infrastructure. Putin's troops now have control of their first major city. Ukraine's president is still defiant, saying Russia's soldiers don't know why they are in his country. With the latest on the bombing overnight and today's developments so far, here's Sejal Karia.
Overnight in Kyiv, the quiet shattered by several large explosions. An American news crew had just finished broadcasting when they had to duck for cover. And the village of Horenka on the outskirts of the capital has found itself in the crossfire, a Russian airstrike destroying several homes. In other developments, Russian forces have seized control of the key port city of Kherson, the first major city to fall, its mayor sending updates of its desperate plight. Informing residents the Ukrainian flag still flies over the city and telling Russian troops not to shoot people. While Ukrainian President Zelensky remained defiant.
Russians will have no peace here. They will have no food. We'll drive them out.
In the besieged city of Mariupol, hundreds of people are feared dead after hours of sustained shelling. Our ITV News team joined the last convoy out when they came face to face with Russian tanks and soldiers.
At one point, the tank turret turned our way. We were staring down the barrel.
This morning, though, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov compared NATO to the Nazis for what he says is its desire to subjugate Europe, ahead of renewed talks with Ukraine later. While the latest video put out by the Russians claims to show its forces approaching Kyiv. Sejal Karia, ITV News.
Well, let's take you live to the Ukrainian capital now and join our Europe editor James Mates. How significant do you think it is that the Russians now have control of their first major city?
It is significant. It's a big loss for the Ukrainians, but put it in context, there's been 8 days now of all-out fighting, and this is the first one they've managed to seize, and they would have expected to control probably most of, I'm sorry, I'm just pausing, we're hearing a rumble of explosions around us. They would have expected to hold a lot more ground than they do currently. So that is significant. The linking up in the south coast, they're now attacking Mariupol. It seems that they're moving on to Odessa next. If this takes the pressure off Kiev, the capital, and off Kharkiv, well, that will be a good thing, although we are still seeing terrible pictures coming out of Kharkiv. I know my colleague Dan Rivers is heading there today, and we'll see more, I'm sure, of just what Russian artillery, missiles and bombs have done there.
James, thank you very much. Thank you. The UN Refugee Agency says 1 million people have now left Ukraine, the swiftest exodus of people this century. What can be done to help them? Our political correspondent David Wood is in Westminster. What is the latest?
Nina, as I understand it this morning, pressure is growing within government to do more to simplify the routes for refugees to come to the UK. Tomorrow, 200,000 will become eligible for visas because they have extended family here. But this morning comes the stark warning from the UN that 4 million people, nearly a tenth of the Ukrainian population, will flee. And that is why today the Disasters and Emergency Committee is launching an appeal for cash to raise money to send food, water and medical supply to the region to help those refugees as they try to get out. But with a growing acceptance, I think, around NATO nations that this conflict will drag on, the humanitarian crisis will only deepen. And that's why I think we're seeing an increased focus on raising cash to help those desperately searching for safety.
David, thank you. And if you're watching and you would like to make a donation to that DEC Ukraine appeal, you can head to their website or call the number on your screen now, 0370 60 60 900. I'll be back with the latest news from Ukraine at midday. Until then, whatever you're doing, enjoy the rest of your morning. Goodbye.